square root of any real number on the number line. How do we find out geometrically? In the last video, we have learned that there are four simple steps. Four simple steps, if we follow, then we can get any square root x, where x is a real number. We can get any square root x. We can find out the measure. If we use these four simple steps, and if we make this small, simple geometrical construction, then the length BD is square root of x. Again, what is x? X is any real number. So x can be square root 2, it can be square root 13, it can be square root 109. I'm just randomly writing out some of these numbers. Or it can even be something like maybe 25.9, right? As long as this is a real number, we can find out the square root of any real number using these four steps. Now the question is, how can we show this length? How can we show square root x on the number line? So let's do one thing. Let's get our construction. So we know that this BD is the length that we are trying to get on our number line. So let's draw ourselves a simple number line here. So we basically know that number line extends from minus infinity to 0 to plus infinity. Now this is what we are going to do. We are going to I'm going to explain to you the logic of what we need to do, and then practically how we actually do it. So conceptually, logically, what we are trying to do is we are going to take our construction, right? And we are going to put our construction on the number line. And how are we going to do it? We are going to do it in a very unique way. We are going to move our construction on the number line in such a way that the point B coincides with the number 0 on the number line. So it will look something like this. And now we know that it is this length BD which is square root x. And our goal is to now get the length BD on to the number line. So what we are going to do next is we are going to take our compass, and with B as center and BD as radius, we are going to draw an arc. And we are going to draw an arc such that that arc cuts the number line. So then we will get something like this. So let's say this point, let's name this point as P as in Peter. So what we have is, we know that the length BD is equal to square root x. We know that. Now because we took B as center and with the radius BD we drew the arc, right? So we know that BD is equal to BP. Now why is that? Why is BD equal to BP? Well, they are both the radius of the same circle or the same arc, right? Because with B as center and this is radius, we drew the arc. So both BD and BP are radius. And because BD is square root x, that means BP is also square root x. So in essence, what we have done is we have transferred the measure square root x on our number line. So this is how we actually logically move our any square root real number on the number line. Now you may wonder, what about if we had a negative number? For example, how do we do, let's say this, right? So in other words, we have minus square root of a negative minus square root real number, right? So we are not talking about square root of minus 19. Let me be very clear, right? So we are not talking about that. We are talking about, say, like this. So square root of a real number, but this is a negative, right? How do we do that? So again, when you draw logically, when you think about this, you are going to first try to find out this measure using the four steps. So BD will be square root 19. Now, instead of going on the right side for the arc, we are going to go on the left side for the arc. Why is that? Because we know that because B coincides with 0, so any number to the right of 0, they are positive numbers. And any number to the left of 0, they are negative numbers. So if we were to find out minus square root 19, then we know BD is square root 19. Then simply, and I'm making this up, so simply we will do something like this, and then this point, let's call it Q. So then BQ will be minus square root 19. Now the question is, it's much easier. Now let's understand how actually we do this. I mean, I mentioned that we can just move the simple construction over, so B coincides with the number 0. But how do we actually do this? The way we do that is we are going to start with our number line, and then we will mark B at 0. And then from here we are going to find out A such that AB equal to X, right? So remember the 4 steps. The first step is to get the length AB, right? So we are going to say the point B, we are going to start with point B, and we are going to go on our left, and we are going to find out the length AB such that AB equals X. And then we are going to go 1 unit, BC, right? And then we'll find out the middle point O, and basically continue with the rest of the step. So if we do the construction that way, then B always coincides with 0, and we can find our number on the number line. So this is how we can draw square root of any real number on the number line.